we have this. We have this saying in Central Texas. We say, "Oh, yeah, we have 4 seasons. We have 4 seasons. We have December, January, February, and summer."
Yeah. And here we say there are only 2 seasons in Iowa. There's winter and there's construction.
Ah, that's good.
It's the end of the construction season now. And so everywhere I look, they're digging up the street and working on all the things that are difficult to fix with snow on the ground. And some years, by this time, we have snow on the ground. But so far this year, we haven't had a hard freeze. And I still have roses blooming in my garden. And lots of herbs are flourishing. So it's I'm at a point of change, and I've got to take care of all those things, or else not. So I have lemon verbena tea that I make every year, and my lemon verbena will not stand the harsh winter we have here, so I have to dig it up if I'm going to save it this year. And nothing else I have is very critical. Geraniums are my others. And geraniums and my few herbs will grow in my basement, in the cellar, under grow lights. So, and some people say, that woman is always going on and on about her garden. The garden and the weather. And let's see, Vlad, I know that you spent some time last year in the U.S. And did you find that people talked about the weather a lot?
Yeah, sometimes, yes.
And let's see, you were on the East Coast, weren't you?
Sorry, what?
You were on the East Coast, weren't you?
Yes, on East Coast.
Where were you?
Mostly on the Cape Coast, Massachusetts.
In the summertime?
Of course.
Oh, you poor thing.
Yeah.
Lots of people go to summer on Cape Cod if they have enough money. And
Yeah.
And I have a friend who lives close to that on the Connecticut shore, but and I think it's quite nice there as well, but that's not my experience, because I lived in Texas for years and I was always working in the summer. My idea of Texas in the summer is inside. Most of the time, I lived in air conditioning. And my daughter, who lives in Plano, Texas, in North Texas, farther north from where Professor Lero lives, was complaining this morning at 5:30 when we were walking on our respective treadmills. We talk on the phone and walk on the treadmill in the morning. I know it's a little crazy, but we do it anyway. And she was complaining about the humidity where she is because it affects how well you can breathe. So I guess I wound up starting a little bit early anyway. And Professor Lero has come up with this wonderful list of idioms talking about the weather.
About the weather. Let's talk about these, ladies and gentlemen. And let's do it this way. I'll give you an idiom, and then you tell us. You can look it up, or you you can speculate on what it means. And Alina, are you there? Alina, do you hear me? Are you live?
Yes,
we have Alina. Okay, Alina, you have the first two, to be snowed under and to chase rainbows. Those are your two, all right? Do you see the list?
Yes.
Okay. Katya, you have raining cats and dogs, and you have Konstantin, save for a rainy day and take a rain check, and Vlad, under the weather and bag of wind. So then we'll talk about what these mean. What these mean. Take a moment or so to look that up. Are we ready, do you think? Huh? Huh? Yes, no?
Let's wing it.
Maybe the first.
Okay, Alina, are you ready? Well, go ahead. What does it mean to be snowed under?
Maybe, example, people have a lot of work, or maybe you have some important things right now. But you can do something.
Whether it's important or not really doesn't matter. The thing that matters is that there's a lot of it, whatever it is, a lot of work or a lot of responsibilities or a lot of errands, something like, oh, I'm so snowed under today, I don't have any free time. Oh, I'm so snowed under. Everybody wants something from me today. I'm just snowed under. I'm just snowed under. I would rather, what about chasing rainbows? What does that mean, Alina?
Or people do some, maybe people want to.
So can you catch a rainbow?
Can you catch a rainbow?
No.
No. So chasing rainbow, what is chasing?
It means when people want to achieve something, but it's not impossible.
It's not.
Yes?
It's impossible. Yes, exactly right. To chase rainbow. Oh, he spends all his time chasing rainbows.
And that's why people waste their time.
Yeah, chasing rainbows. To be a dreamer or to waste. Oh, I'm always chasing rainbows. You know, can you recite the colors of the rainbow in English in order?
The first color is purple.
Okay. First color is purple.
I know that blue, red, green, yellow, orange.
There's a trick. I'll tell you the trick. The trick is I put it in the chat. There's this name, Roy G. Biv. Roy G. Biv, and Roy G. Biv is a man's name, and in English it's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and in Russian it's каждый охотник желает знать, где сидит фазан. Professor Marston, that means every hunter wants to know where the pheasant sits, where the pheasant hides. Every hunter wants to know where the pheasant hides, and that's the Russian mnemonic device for the colors of the rainbow.
And it fits very well for I'm always chasing rainbows, right?
I'm always chasing rainbows, right?
I could not see that in the chat. Did you send it to everyone?
Let's see. No, I guess I got it from. I got it from Professor Shestakov. Professor Shestakov, go ahead and put that to. Oh, it is everyone. Oh, wait. I sent it to the wrong people. I sent it to the presenter. You got to be careful about that. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. There we go. Red, orange, or green, blue, indigo, violet. Okay. Now we're on to raining cats and dogs. Raining cats and dogs. Who has that? Katya.
Yes, it's me. That phrase means that it's really strong rain on the street.
That's good. That's right. Yeah.
It's raining in the street. We have the same proverb, or I don't know, phrase. Идет как из ведра.
It's like raining in Russian. You say like from a bucket.
Yes.
From a bucket.
And the second one on cloud nine means that the people are really happy. That so happy, and he can't explain it. And he said, "I'm on 9 cloud. I'm on cloud 9." But in Russia we have just 7 clouds, and we say "на 7-м небе от счастья."
Put that in the chat, okay? Did you put it in the chat for its content? There you go. Whoops. I didn't. Oh, I didn't. I can't.
I said it again.
Okay. Vlad, how about you? You have a better. You better have a better font. Vlad, would you put that in the chat?
Okay, I did it.
Okay. In seventh heaven.
Yes.
That's the seventh heaven. Seventh heaven on cloud 9. I wonder why we do that. Do you have any idea why, Professor Marston, why we count seventh heaven, cloud 9?
Maybe you're more happy.
One more cloud.
Okay. I don't know. Well, anyway, okay, Vlad, here we are. Vlad, we have this expression, save for a rainy day. What does that mean? Save for a rainy day. Vlad, are you there? It was say for a rainy day.
Sorry, what?
What is say for a rainy day? What is that? Say for a rainy day. You don't even have to look it up. You can kind of guess what this means, I think. Say for a rainy day.
And can you think of a Russian expression that has this meaning?
I don't know. I have guessed. Maybe it's like be prepared for something bad, like a rainy day.
Good.
For example, to have an umbrella. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, or maybe how about if you have $100 bill and you so somewhere, just in English, say for a black day. Yeah, that's good. Say for a black day. Say for a rainy day. Say for a black day. Good. Okay, Vlad, one more. Take a rain check.
Professor Vladimir, this is not my idioms.
It's not.
Yes, you told to do this for Constantine.
Okay, Konstantin, what about, thank you for correcting me. Thank you for, what about take a rain check? What does that mean? Konstantin?
I think it is to check in bad conditions.
Hmm? Take a rain check? Take a rain check? Anyone know what take a rain check means?
Yes, I know.
Yeah? What does it mean, Vlad?
I heard this phrase before a lot of times, and as I know, historically there was, for example, when you go to watch a baseball play on a stadium, you in the past times you had something like part of your ticket, and if yes, and when it was bad weather on the stadium, and you can visit this play another day with help of this part which called rain check. It's
Right.
like yes. Thank you, Professor Marston.
Professor Marston says
Yeah.
you get a rain check to watch, and now, well, the meaning of this phrase extends to all kinds of consequences. I say to you, Vlad, would you like to come have a cup of coffee with me this afternoon? You say, oh, I have class, but I'll take a rain check.
Yes.
That means I hope you invite me again. I'll take a rain check. I'll take a rain check.
So it's still very popular.
Yeah, very popular. Okay, Konstantin, back to you. and under the weather?
I don't know. Is the second question that I don't know. Maybe something depend on the weather. I don't know.
Well, it doesn't have.
That's mine.
That's yours too?
I can, yes, I
Okay.
can. Under the weather, right?
Yeah.
So, as I understood, it's something. It's like to get in trouble, being trapped, something like that.
It means to not feel good.
Yeah.
You know, how are you doing this morning, Vlad? Oh, I'm a little under the weather. And it usually means that maybe you're under the weather because last night you had a little too much to drink. Okay, good. Konstantin, which ones did I give? Which ones did I assign to you? I forget.
Sorry?
Which one?
Could you repeat your question?
Yes. Which idioms did I assign to you? Which did I ask you to comment on?
I feel prepared to take a rain check, but I didn't decide what does mean it.
Okay. Which one have you prepared? Any of them?
No. I have heard about raining cats and dogs and all.
Okay.
That's all.
Raining cats and dogs. Konstantin, what do you think a bag of wind is?
No. Maybe it's strong wind.
Strong wind. A bag of wind.
No, I have no idea.
No idea. Sometimes you hear, sometimes this is a bag of wind. You also say, well, you say that about a person. A person might be a windbag. Oh, that guy, he's such a windbag. Windbag. Nina, Katya, Vlad, what do you think a bag of wind is?
I found that this idiom means when somebody talk too much without reasons and out of question.
Right. Someone who talks a lot, dominates the conversation, talks whether or not they have anything to say. It sounds good. Alina, what about come rain or come shine? What do you think that means?
Maybe it means don't worry if it's rain or maybe
come rain or shine. Katya, what do you think? Come rain or shine?
I will try to find it. But maybe no matter what happens, I don't know.
Konstantin, I'll give you an example, okay? I'll give you an example. Konstantin, you will say, you might say, the Moscow Metro, it runs come rain.
Игра состоится при любой погоде.
In any kind of weather, yeah, all right? In any kind of weather, whatever happens. And it doesn't mean necessarily about the weather. You know, I will return to you, darling, come rain or shine. You know, the soldiers going off to war. Whatever happens. Good. Let's do one more. How about this last one? Tempest in a teapot. Tempest in a teapot. I know that there's a Russian expression very similar to this. A tempest is an old-fashioned word that means storm. Storm. Alina, what is a tempest in a teapot?
the last tempest in a teapot.
Yeah.
Maybe that means when people have an argument, or maybe yes, when they arguments, but their arguments is not important.
Right. And the argument's not important. Konstantin wrote it in Russian. Konstantin explained what you wrote in Russian? Explain it in English.
The storm in the glass of tea.
Yeah, it's a storm in a
cup of water.
In a glass of water. Okay.
That's very similar to the English.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's very good. Very good. Много шума, а драки нет. More noise than substance, you know. An elephant out of flour. Interesting. Good. Okay. Professor Marston.
Today our topic is about politics, and you read several things about the Constitution, and you listened to some songs from Schoolhouse Rock that talk about how a bill is made, and all that is kind of background information. This is a very interesting and difficult time to try to talk about politics in America, but we're going to do it anyway. First, I asked you to see if you had any questions about those things that we asked you to read or listen to. If you have, we're going to go on beyond that today, and so if you're confused about how any of that works, we need to know about that. Or comments on that. Okay, the first thing I want to ask you about before we get to this cartoon is the balance of powers. This is the kind of government that we have in the U.S. Can you tell me what that means, the balance of powers? Who are the three segments of the balance of power? Katya, do you know?
One of the power, I think, is court, and the second is government.
These refer to three branches of government.
Mm-hmm.
One is Congress.
Congress, yes.
And what are the other two? Amina, can you help?
Administration of president.
Okay, so that's the executive.
It's executive branch.
Mm-hmm.
And judicial system.
And the judicial system, that's the Supreme Court. So those are the three branches, and that they're supposed to really balance each other out, and they have different jobs. The Congress are representatives from all the states, and their job is to make laws. And the president's job is to approve laws or disapprove them. And what's the Supreme Court's job?
Oh, vacation.
Vacation?
Solve cases.
I didn't quite understand you. Judicial, the Supreme Court, is supposed to rule on whether laws are upheld by the Constitution, if they're constitutional. And it's the last court of appeal. And so, for example, the new, relatively new healthcare legislation, which has been enacted for 3 years already, has already undergone a judicial challenge, and the Supreme Court has upheld the constitutionality of affordable health care, which is also called Obamacare. So that would be an example of that. Now, this is as opposed to, say, the British form of government, which is parliamentary. And this is dominated by the parliament, the representative body, the legislative branch. In England, or maybe I should say in Britain, it is the majority party that runs the government. And whichever party is in power chooses the prime minister, who functions as the executive. It has a role similar to that of our president. And if the Congress, if the Parliament doesn't like the way the Prime Minister is running the country, they can call for a vote of no confidence. And if they succeed as a vote of no confidence, then there is a change of government. And another prime minister is chosen probably from another party, from an opposition party. And a parliamentary form of government allows for more than two political parties. But the American system is based on a two-party system. And that is part of the problem that we are facing right now. So if you're not looking on the whiteboard at the cartoon that is called MP 2013, please choose that tab, MP 2013. And you should be looking at three men with turbans. And Alina, would you please read what it says on the cartoon?
Who knew these being Tea Party members of alone?
Okay.
Next?
Yes, continue.
Do as we say, or will destroy America.
Okay, so who are the people in the turbans?
Who are these guys with the beards?
The beards and the turbans. Yes, okay, they're terrorists. And so for us, for Americans looking at this cartoon, they're going to say, oh yeah, the Al-Qaeda, because this is the, and I don't know that that's the way they look, but that's what's behind this. And so we think of them as terrorists, and they have long threatened to say, do what we want or we'll destroy America. And they are so happy in this picture because that's the kind of bullying threats that America has been getting from Tea Party members, according to Mike Peters, who is the a political cartoonist. So now, what's the Tea Party? Who can tell me? We only have two parties, so how's this one? What are those two parties that we normally think? The Tea Party is a fringe group, a small, extreme part of one party. Are they part of the Republicans or part of the Democrats? Do you know? Okay, you guys, don't all speak at once. Okay, so the Tea Party is a very conservative, extreme right part of the Republican Party. They're a minority party, but they have been managing to take control of the mainstream Republican Party. And that has upset the normal order of things. And the polls that we see in the United States right now show that the Republicans are not very popular. They are being blamed for the shutdown of the government. And so here's another cartoon. This is in a tab called Shut, S-H-U-T. And Konstantin, can you tell me can you describe what's going on in this picture, or what you see?
The elephant tried to turn off government.
Yes, good. They're trying to shut down the government. And why is that difficult?
Because supplies is very short.
Yes, he's plugged into public support, but the public support is not long enough.
Sorry. The elephant, are they Democrats or Republicans?
Republicans, yes. Democrats are donkeys.
Elephants is Republicans.
Yes. So this is supported by public opinion polls who say that the Republicans are being blamed for trying to shut down the government, and they're losing their power. Now, look at the electrical plug. Is that the kind of plug that you have in Russia?
Sorry, could you repeat your question?
Look at the electrical plug. It's plugged into the outlet. Is that the kind of connector that you have for your electrical devices?
Here's mine. Does yours look like this?
Uh-huh.
Konstantin, does your plug look like this? This is a plug, huh? An electrical plug?
Yes.
And does yours look like this? What does yours look like? Alina, what does yours look like?
I don't know.
Does it look like this?
Do you have something electrical that you can show us that has prongs on it?
But we can't show you our plugs because we
Like this.
should be like this elephant. If we show you our plug, my computer.
Okay, well, don't unplug your computer. How many prongs does the plug have on it in Russia? Do you have 2 flat prongs? Or do you have 3? We sometimes have 2.
Look at here. Look at here. This is Russia.
Ah, okay, so they're round plugs.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have any like that. Ours don't look like that at all. ours are like what you see in the cartoon.
It was, I noticed, it was funny. I noticed when Professor Shostakov was here and he was staying at my house, when he plugged in his computer, he had to have an adapter so that he could use his round plug in a flat outlet.
Okay, now I'm looking at a cartoon that's called Circle the Wagons and Fire. Can you choose that, please? And Katja, can you read this, please? Katja, can you turn on your microphone?
Yes. Oh, let me rephrase that.
Okay, good. And what are, there's some little words all around that circle. What are the words on the picture?
Maybe this man in the circle has a different opinion than other people. And when he said that other people take out their gun.
Okay, let me give you some historical context on this. When we were settling the American West in the late 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century, people rode wagon trains, a group of wagons like this, and they were drawn by horses or oxen, and it was people who were going west to settle that vast wilderness. My grandfather, who was born in 1884, when he was 12 years old, that would be 1892, went across the country with a wagon train and his family. And his job was to shoot animals for meat to feed the people in the wagon train. So when they needed to defend themselves, which they often did because the indigenous people, the Indians who lived in that unsettled land, would attack the settlers because they rightly saw them as threats to their way of life. And so the way that wagon trains would repel attacks would be to circle the wagons like this, make a circle, and shoot out. So this was a way to make a safe place. But instead of shooting out here, they are circling the wagons and shooting with that guy in the middle with the big ears. If you look carefully, you will see he has big ears. And that's a clue to who that person is. Do you know who is portrayed, what politician is portrayed with big ears?
Obama, maybe.
Yeah, that's it. He's often caricatured as having big ears. So that's Obama in the middle, and everybody is clicking. That sound of the click is the safety being taken off the rifles so that they're preparing to shoot. That's why he says, let me rephrase that. So it looks as though people, the government right now is getting ready to attack from within rather than defending from without. And so now I have a new version of a document that I want to use, and it's going to take me a minute to retrieve it. So
while you're doing that, I'm going to show a photograph. Would that be okay?
Yes, please.
Let me see if I can find this here. Sekundочку. Just a moment. Just a moment. Here we go. Okay, I have put a photograph up that says Texas Capitol. Texas Capitol. Everyone see it? Alina, Katya, Konstantin, do you see the picture that says Texas Capitol? And here we have our favorite friend here, a well-known Omsk scholar and man about town. And he's standing in front of this building. Alina, what do you think this building is? What do you think this building is?
Maybe some government building.
Yeah, some government building. Konstantin, what is this? It's a government building. What do you think this government building is?
Capitol.
It's the capital, Capitoli of Texas. And I want to tell you that there's an interesting fact about the Texas Capitol. Professor Shesterhoff and I went to see the Capitol. I don't remember what time it was, in the morning, I think. But the Texas Capitol, by law, by tradition, is open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And the reason is that so that any citizen can go to the seat of government, and any citizen can go there and see the government working or meet with legislators or something like that. Is that true in Russia? Can you go into the capital, into the Russian capital, anytime you want, and speak with anyone you want?
They have no capital.
No, I know it's a very unusual tradition, but it's important symbolically. I don't, you know, you can get in there now, and the legislators have their offices now in another building, but symbolically, this says that the people are the government. And if you remember the very last words of the Gettysburg Address, we have worked with that the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Government of the people, by the people. It's the people's government, and that's a fundamental. It's a fundamental thought behind government in the United States. It's a basic principle. Good, Professor Marston.
Okay, thank you for that. And now I would like you to choose the tab that begins Republicans. It's called Republicans _ Democrats. Okay, and so your task, and you're going to have a couple of minutes to do this. I want you to write on the whiteboard, and at the top of the whiteboard you should see some tools, and I want you to choose the big letter T, the text tool, and then choose a color for your text, and that's from the thing that's colored over there. And 1, 2, 3, fourth thing from the left, so that when you write, we can identify who has written that. So you're going to write D or R. And because the first row of this table is not a header row, it's one of the choices, and there are about 10 maybe issues. So you're going to say, by clicking in a particular box, you're going to click, and then you're going to put a D or an R in that cell. So you're going to have a few minutes to do this, and then we're going to be working on it together. So choose a color, and we're going to want to know what your color is. If you would please put that in the chat. So, but mark it up first, and we just want to make sure that everybody has a different color. So do you have questions about what I'm asking you to do?
Yes, a question.
Yes.
In this tab, the phrase is mixed. I mean, flavor minimum wage is not for liberal, it's just a phrase. Or
that's right.
It's for liberal.
And so you have to decide, for example, those economic ideas columns, favoring minimum wage and progressive taxation, is that a Democratic position or a Republican position? And so you're going to go down and put D or R in every one. And I think it's Professor Shestakov and I who have chosen red. And so choose another color for your text that is not red. It's called the annotation color up above there. You're going to have just a couple of minutes to do this. And if you have questions as you're reading through these positions, feel free to ask. So choose the text tool from the top menu on the left, and then a color. Okay, Alina's going to use blue, so don't choose blue.
Oh, it's Kate. I choose
Alina
wrote it.
Alina wrote it, so she's first to get it into the chat, so you need to choose another color, Katya. Okay, you guys, this is the easy part. So, Vlad, what color are you going to use? Katya's going to use pink. So we need to hear from the guys. Vlad and Kostya, what colors are you going to use? Just click on the text tool, then on the colored box. And when you click on the colored box, you will have a choice of colors. Just don't choose blue or pink. Then click in the cell and write a letter. I'm going to put an R. I have just put an R under philosophy conservative. And this is not the fun part. This is the structural part. So go ahead and do this quickly. Vlad, are you there?
We seem to have lost the Vlad.
Okay. Kostya, can you choose a color, please? Do you see how to do that?
I choose a black color.
Okay, black, that works.
I can't use it.
Okay, so do you see the top row where you have, there's an arrow and then there's a text tool? Click on the text tool and then go 3 over to where you see the colors. You see that square color? If you click on that, it opens up a dozen colors or so. You can choose black, but it'd be easier to see it if you chose another color, not blue and not pink.
Well, choose one of those rainbow colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see where I'm talking about, Kostya? Okay, we got blue. We're going there. So you need to be sure that it's the text tool that you've chosen. Otherwise, we won't be able to read whether you have a D or an O.
Okay.
Professor Lero, can you run through the instructions? I think we are having some technical difficulties here. Could you explain how to do this in Russian so we can get on with this?
Kostya?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
What problem do you have? with the text?
Yes, everyone seems to be having trouble with the tool, getting the tool selected and being ready to get a color selected and put it in the box. We do have a couple people are beginning to do this, or at least I see one blue thing.
Those are Lina's, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
And Katya's pink. Have you figured out how to make it work, Katya?
Yes.
Okay, I will show my meeting window.
Okay. I see a blank screen now. That is a lovely turquoise. Almost matches my jacket.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So if you need to choose the text, you press this button, text, and then you should be able to write. And you need to choose the color here, and you can choose R, like this. Yeah. So again, just press this text tool and
So, so I'll do the first one. Philosophy. The two choices are liberal and conservative. And Alina, will you read the economic ideas, the two choices? I can see some sound waves coming off of your icon, Alina, but I cannot hear you.
I should read it.
Yes, please.
Favor minimum wages and progressive taxation, i.e. higher tax rates for higher income brackets.
And the second column?
The lease tax shouldn't be increased for anyone, including the wealthy, and the wages should be taxed by the free market.
Okay, so for this economic ideas issue, everyone should choose which one they think is the Democratic view and which they think is the Republican view, and put a D or an R in that, in each box. It's okay, there's no penalty for being wrong. Yes, go ahead.
First, it's D, Democratic.
Which one? The one on the left or the one on the right?
Left.
Believe that taxes shouldn't be increased for anyone, including the wealthy?
No. Favor minimum wages and progressive taxation is D. And next is
Yes, I think that's a good guess, and we will come back to that. And Konstantin, will you read the next one, the stand on military issues?
Sorry?
Will you please read the next one, the stand on military issues?
Military insurance.
Just read what is in the two boxes.
Increase spending. I think that Republicans stay for increasing spending.
Okay, increase spending, and the other one is, read the second column too.
And so Democrats want to increase maybe, or decrease spending maybe. I don't know.
Okay, this is a complicated issue, but generally, I think that Republicans are in favor of increasing military spending, especially for that part of the economy that is called military industrial complex. And so the big manufacturers of weapons, tanks, fighter planes, and ships are traditionally given funding by the Republicans, but it doesn't always work that way, and we can talk about the subtleties maybe later. So everybody needs to vote on that. Go ahead and, I mean, it's not a vote, it's just a what do you think. And we're going to be talking about these later. And Katya, can you please read the next issue, Stand on Gay Marriage?
Stand on gay marriage, opposite and support, opposite,
Oppose.
oppose,
And yes, those are the two choices. Who do you think opposes gay marriage?
I think both Republicans
Okay.
and
So,
support Democrats.
okay, so whether you disagree or agree, everyone should mark something there. And we will come back and talk to them about that. And stand on abortion. Would you please read that, Nina?
Shouldn't abortion should not be illegal and should not be legal. Illegal and legal.
Okay, so currently abortions in most cases are legal, but that is a law that has existed for 40 years and has been strongly opposed and threatened again and again. And so,
could I ask a sort of a language question?
Yeah.
What you just read, those two statements, they're both negative statements. Should not be made illegal, should not be legal.
Mm-hmm.
Could you change those two statements? Could you paraphrase them and make them positive statements?
Good question.
Could you do that? Okay, the should not be made illegal, should not be legal. Could you make those positive? Take out the not?
If I chose maybe robbery is can is legal, but can't be legal. It can't be illegal.
Okay, good. All right, good. Should be made legal, should be illegal.
And that's all?
Yeah, good. Okay, good. It's a hard question. It's a hard question. It's a hard question.
Okay.
Should not be illegal. Good, thank you.
It's a good question too. And we have so many ways of making negatives. Sometimes it's but that generally is not going to be used. We don't say unlegal ever. So it's always interesting to see how negatives are made. Okay, the next one is a stand on the death penalty. And Katya, could you read that, please?
Death penalty. Stand on death penalty. A large majority of them support the death penalty. It's Republicans and opponents of the death penalty are a substantial fraction of the party. It's the Democrats.
Okay, that sounds good to me. And social and human ideas. Kostya, that's yours. Would you read that, please?
But I have no idea on this issue.
Well, just read the words and then we'll talk about it.
social and human idea, community and social responsibility. I don't know who stands for social responsibility or who stands for individual rights.
Okay, so it's even kind of hard to make this parallel, but does anyone have an idea of which might be represented by the Republican Party? I see that there's a little bit of discussion here, disagreement on what you think. And so I will tell you that there is a strong Republican position based on individual rights and justice. And if we get to talk about the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, you will see that there's a large number of Republicans who are very pro-gun rights, and other individual rights of property are considered very basic American rights by the Republicans. And when there are issues about gun safety and gun control laws, it's the Democrats who support them in general and the Republicans who oppose them. So now, role of government. This is a key difference. And this is at the heart of the struggle over the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, the health care plan. Now, that's been in place for 3 years and is stepping up what they make available. We don't have universal health care, so this is a big issue, role of government. And can you read that, Katya, please?
Role of government. For favor a small government, both in terms of the number of people employed by the government and in terms of the responsibilities of government in society. And the second one, favor an active role of government in society and believe that such involvement can improve the quality of people's life.
Okay, so one favors an activist role for government in society, interested in building infrastructure, so improving the quality of the roads and bridges and public buildings, and involved in the improvement of the quality of people's lives. Based on this description, do you think that the people who believe in an active role for government would support the Affordable Health Care Act or not? What do you think?
I think that Republicans not active role.
You think that government, Republicans would not have an active role?
Yes.
So they would favor a small government?
Republicans, yes.
Yes, okay. I think that's right.
I read about it that government against active role in economic government.
Yes. Okay, we're going to come back to that because that is a huge issue. And we've already talked about the elephant being Republican, as Kostya pointed out when we were looking at the the Republicans not able to shut down the government and still get the support. And the donkey is traditionally the Democratic symbol.
I want to make an observation about these two symbols. I think it's interesting that the elephant is facing right and that the donkey is facing left, which is a commentary on their basic philosophy.
Yes, I don't know that that's traditional. It's probably just luck here.
Yeah, it's just it might be a coincidence. Might be a coincidence. Interesting.
But I like it because the elephants certainly are right facing.
They certainly are.
And the colors are something that we've talked about before. Blue representing the Democrats and red the Republicans. You hear talk about blue states and red states, and that is who would carry that. And Professor Lero, are you hearing anything more about the changing Texas colors?
Well, there's talk that maybe parts of Texas are becoming more purple and are kind of drifting away from their redocentric selves.
And do you think that has something to do with the increasing number of Hispanic citizens?
It does, and there are two or three interesting developments. First is the emergence of Wendy Davis, State Senator Wendy Davis, who is a strong Democratic figure, though she may not be a very powerful or well-known politician. She is a unifying force for the party. Second, the other day, a Tea Party candidate announced for governor, a black woman activist.
Wow!
And we, my wife and I, cheered because she's also an appealing candidate, and she's the kind of candidate that would pull voters away from the Republican Party quite easily. The Attorney General of Texas is running for governor, and so these are kind of two recent events, small ones, but they're ones that would, if I were a Republican strategist, they would cause me some concern.
Well, that's really fun. Now, the last, and I'm watching that with interest because the state of Texas has been dominated by the Republican Party for a long time.
Well, since the time of Lyndon Johnson.
Yes.
And it was Lyndon Johnson who sort of tilted Texas toward the Republican Party.
And Lyndon Johnson was a Democratic president, and the big achievement of his administration was the Voting Rights Act, among others, but that's the one that is having a big influence today because it ended discrimination in voting rights for a number of people who had been deprived of the right to vote in the South particularly. And when it was passed, Lyndon Johnson said, this will lose the Democratic Party for Texas, or maybe it wasn't limited to Texas. The Democrats will lose by this vote for the next generation.
Yeah, I think so, for the southern states, for sure.
Yes, yes. And so far that's been true. So it's very interesting to see that. And the last one, famous presidents is very complicated because of the historical shift in what parties believed. And Katya's asked the, what we used to call the $64,000 question, the really big question about the government shutting down. And your question, Katya, is how do you think who will give up until Thursday? Thursday is the day when the Republicans have vowed to default, that is, to not pay our financial obligations. It's like if you have a mortgage on your house, or you're making...
I think it will be Black Tuesday in history.
Black Thursday? Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. It would be a terrible financial blow to shut this down. The Tea Party, that we didn't really get to talk about much, has been saying, oh, well, as long as we can pay the interest on the debt, it doesn't matter. This is not important. And it's very upsetting. I don't know. What do you think? What do you hear in Russia?
I hear today in news that Republicans started to give up because they have they started to consult with Obama and they started the discussion this problem.
I think this will not be decided until the last minute, and
like in a film, like in a movie.
Yeah, it will be what they call a cliffhanger, and we will talk more about that next week. But one thing I would like to do, I would like for us to debate this next week, and it's really hard for me to set that up because there are only 3 of you, and I really would like for you to work in pairs. So I'm just going to tell you what we're hoping to do next week is to do a bit of debating. And I would like for you to be able to work in pairs, but since we only have 3 right now because Vlad seems to have dropped off, we are going to, I'm going to ask you to take a position on any 3 of these issues. Choose 3 issues. And prepare to advocate either side of the issue. I'm going to give you an example. For example, a stand on gay marriage. So you need to find out what the Republican position is and what the Democratic position is, and be able to defend either one, no matter what your own personal beliefs are. So this is something that I had to learn how to do when I was in school, and for every controversial issue, we had to be able to advocate for either side. It was useful. And so you may find that the arguments that one side makes don't match up well with the arguments of another side. So right now we're not going to worry about setting partners or making sure that your issues coincide with each other. We're going to work that out, but I would like for you at least to research at least 3 of these ideas. And I have a very fine column that was originally written in Russian, which talks about the American situation now. And I have read it in translation, and I'm going to give you the Russian column, and I would like you to read it and to be prepared to translate it into English. So you will have this opportunity to examine it ahead of time, and then we will use it as the basis of our discussion next week, besides looking at the issues. And by then, Katja, I hope I will have a better answer to this. I think this is an extremely historically significant moment because of the effect of all this on the international markets. I think this could really be key, and it's driven by a small, Professor Leroy's word was lunatic fringe, the Tea Party trying to seize control of the Republican Party. And the people that I have talked to in Des Moines, Iowa about this issue have been talking about how they really think that we should just get rid of all the people in the Congress, vote them out, and start with a fresh batch. And so it may be that the Republicans will lose control of the House of Representatives. That's what I think is likely to happen. So there's a lot here to talk about.
Good discussion today. Good discussion today.
Does anybody have any questions about what I expect you to do? Okay, as soon as I can, I will get you a link to the Russian article that I thought was a great article, very clear, and I've read a lot of explanations, and maybe someone with a little distance, as the view from Russia can sometimes be useful. So I don't read it, and I read what I have been told is a very good translation of this, and so I have an idea about what it means, and I would like you to read the Russian and be prepared to do some translations of it next time. Okay? Thank you very much. I enjoyed this.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll
Will we visit for a moment?
Maybe so.
Okay.